Kathopanishad, Chapter 1, Section 2. Anyach shreyo anyattu teva preyaste ubhe nanarthe purushagam sinitaha tayoha shreya adadanasya sadhu bhavati hiyate urthadya upreyo vrinite. Yamaraj now knows that Nachiketa is fit to receive Brahma knowledge or Atma Gyan. Yamaraj in the following verses says that at every moment man is surrounded by two kinds of choices. One is Shreya, that is good or preferable, and the other is pleasant or Preya. Everyone has a free will to choose one of these two paths. Most people choose the Preya or pleasant because pleasant is pleasing, but they don't realize that it ends in pain. Take the example of a small child. He wants to play all the time, isn't it? But you as a parent tell him to study, which is Shreya and good for him. But the child, given a choice, is unable to distinguish between the two and chooses the pleasant or Preya. Shreyascha preyascha manushyametah tau samparitaya vivinakti dhiraha shreyo hi dhiro bhi preyaso vrinite preyo mando yogakshemad vrinite. Such choices of Shreya and Preya come to us in mixed forms. Thus, an unwise person is unable to see the difference. But a wise person, after thinking deeply over the two choices, can separate the two and select the Shreya, the good, the preferable, or the righteous path. But an unwise man lacks this discrimination and selects what is pleasurable, that is Preya. Let me share a simple example here. When you see a piece of cake kept before you, it tempts you, just like Yamaraj was tempting Nachiketa with all the gifts. You give in to the temptation and choose the Preya, the pleasant, and eat that cake. Later on, you realize it was not good or Shreya for you. But now what is done. All those calories and sugar have settled inside you. Similarly, temptations come to us every day in different ways and forms. We are sometimes so caught in them that we are unable to distinguish between right and wrong, Shreya and Preya. Who prevents us from choosing the good? It is our own lack of understanding, our own avivek or agyan. Someone has rightly said that good comes to a person who chooses the good. But he who chooses the pleasant can never find God. Please try to apply these two verses in your daily life. Think deeply about the good and the pleasant before taking any of your decisions. You will see that step by step you are making yourself ready for Atma Gyan. This is exactly how we can work upon our karma and make a tremendous change in the vibrations around us. Satvam priyan priyarupaamscha kaman abhidhyayan nachiketo tyasrakshih naitamam shrinkamam vittamayim avapto yasyam majanti bahavo manushyaha. In this verse, Yamraj is appreciating the wisdom of Nachiketa. He says, "You, O Nachiketa, had two choices before you. You wanted to have the knowledge of life after death. In exchange of that boon, I offered you all the pleasures of worldly life, many sons, grandsons, wealth, and whatever you could ever wish for in this world of Maya. But you, like a wise man, pondered upon the Shreya and prayer and rejected the pleasant, the prayer." You must have felt in Nachiketa the hunger for eternal. You and I will die one day. Everything that exists today will die someday. Nothing you see here is timeless. Nachiketa here is shown to be a true seeker who hungers for the real, the eternal, in which he can find real satisfaction, joy, Anand. In the following two shloks, Yamraj continues to talk about Vidya and Avidya, Shreyas and Preyas, and how one can make oneself fit and ready to receive the deeper knowledge of self and the secret of life after death. दूर में ते विपरीते विशुचि अविद्याया च विद्येति ज्ञाता विद्याभीप्सिनं नचिकेतसं मन्ये न त्वा कामा बहवो लोलुपन्तः. These two, Vidya, wisdom or Shreyas, and Avidya, also known as ignorance and preyas, are wide apart and lead to different results. I have seen that you, O Nachiketa, are eager for wisdom. Even many desirable pleasures I tempted you with did not distract you from your path. You chose the Shreyas. Thus, I consider you fit and wise to receive Atmagyan, the knowledge of self. Avidyayamantare vartamanaha swayam dhiraha panditam manyamanaha dandramaya paryanti mooraha andhe naiva niyamana yatha andhaha. People who consider themselves learned and wise may not necessarily be so. When they advise other people, it's like one blind man showing the way to other blind men. We all may be at the same level of learning. So the first step towards acquiring knowledge is the acceptance that I am ignorant. Even in Bhagavad Gita, Shri Krishna is ready to impart knowledge to Arjun only after Arjun realizes and accepts that he is unable to find answers on his own, that he is ignorant. He completely surrenders to Shri Krishna, and that is when his path to enlightenment begins. We all need to be like Arjun, realizing that we are ignorant. We cannot see the real nature of things. Only with this realization, the light of wisdom will start creeping in within us. न साम्परायः प्रतिभाति बालं प्रमादवन्तं वित्तमोहेन्मूढम् अयं लोको नास्ति पर इति मानि पुनः पुनर्वर्षमापद्यते मे. Now in this shlok, Yamraj is explaining that it is very difficult for people to understand what is beyond death. If you see in the first line, Samparaya means crossing over to the other part. In the second line, Pramadvantam with mohen mudham. With means wealth, moh means attachment, and mudham means ignorant. So the ignorant person is attached to wealth. Ayam loko nasti. He thinks that this is the only world. Lok is world. Ayam, this is the only. Nasti par iti mani. And there is no other world. Punha punarvarshma padyate me. Again and again they fall into the trap of life and death. So he is saying there is a world beyond death, but people who are ignorant, mudham, whose minds cling to worldly pleasures, cannot see this, thinking that there exists only this world, which is full of material wealth, relations, food and drink and so on, and think that there is no other world that is invisible. That person falls again and again into my power, into the unending cycles of life, death and suffering. Thousands and lakhs of people live thinking like this, but a few among those like you, Nachiketa, are able to feel the invisible world and are wise enough to pursue it and finally become the knower of self. Shravanayapi bahubhiryo na labhyah shrinvanto api bahavo yam na vidyuha आश्चर्यो वक्ता कुशलो अस्य लब्धा आश्चर्यो ज्ञाता कुशलानुशिष्टः. So in this shlok, as you can see, the first line, Shravanayapi, it means, it talks about hearing. It cannot be heard by many people, bahubhiryo, cannot be attained, na labhyaha. And in the third and the fourth line, Ascharyo Vakta Kushalo Asya Labdha. You need a teacher who is skillful, Kushalasya. You need a student who is skillful to understand also, Kushalanu Shishtaha. So the detailed meaning of this shlok is, Yamaraj is explaining that the hidden depths of our own soul is a mystery to many of us. The nature of this self or this soul is very subtle. It is difficult to hear it, Shravanayapi. And even if you are able to hear, it's difficult to comprehend it. Na labhyaha. It is very rare and wondrous to find a teacher who can teach about self and a student who is skillful enough to understand it. Both are difficult to find, the teacher and the student who can understand this hidden self. In these two shloks, Yamaraj is delighted to have Nachiketa as a student, and he again emphasizes the point that the knowledge of self is not easy to teach or even understand. Nanarena varena prokta esha suvigyeyo bahuda chintyamanaha ananya prokte gatiratra nasti aniyanhi atarkyam anupramanat. This self, if taught by an inferior man, narena varena, that means an inferior man, cannot be understood. Here, inferior man means a person who is steeped in worldly pleasures, who cannot see or feel the deeper and subtle self inside him. How can such a person teach about self when he himself have not realized the self, the Brahman? This self or Brahman is thought of and assumed in many forms. If you see the line number 2, Bahuda Chintya Manaha, it means it has been thought of in many various forms. You cannot comprehend it unless the self or this Brahman is taught by a teacher who has become one with Brahman, who can feel the oneness in everything, who doesn't see any duality. Only then can you understand this. Why? Because this self inside you is beyond senses, beyond the limitations of mind. नैषा तर्केण मतिरापनेया प्रोक्तान्येनैव सुज्ञानाय प्रेष्ठ यां त्वमापः सत्यधृतेर्बतासि त्वादृङ्गं नो भूयान् नचिकेतः पृष्टा. So in this shlok, Yamaraj is again telling Nachiketa that this self cannot be learned by reading or reasoning or logic. In line number 1, you can see Tarkena, that means logic. Yamaraj is very happy to find an inquirer like Nachiketa, and he addresses him as Preshta in line number 2. And in this verse, Yamaraj is appreciating Nachiketa for his determination and faith in seeking the answers. This higher knowledge of self is beyond the realms of our mind. But you, O Nachiketa, have held fast to the path of Shreyas, wisdom. May we get more such wise seekers like you. Now this shlok is a controversial shlok, a very difficult shlok to understand. I will try to tell you the meanings of each and every word here so that you can interpret in your own way also. Janamyaham shevdhiritya nityam nahi adhruvaiha prapyate hi dhruvam tat tato maya nachiketas chito agniha anityai dravyaiha praptavanasmi nityam. In the first line, the word janamyaham, it is a combination of janami plus aham, meaning I know. The second word, Shevdhiritya Nityam, it's a combination of 3 words. Shevdhir, meaning worldly pleasure. Iti meaning this fact. Anityam means perishable, something which is not eternal, which will die. So I know all these worldly pleasures are perishable. In the second line, you can see Dhruvam Tat. Tat means that, Dhruvam means permanent reality. So that permanent reality cannot be attained. Prapyate. Nahi adhruvaiha. Adhruvai means impermanent. So that permanent reality cannot be attained by impermanent things. Tato maya nachiketas chito agniha. Therefore, Tato means therefore, I performed the sacrificial fire of Nachiketa, Nachiketa's Chito Agniha. It was performed by me. Maya means by me. Anityai dravyaiha praptavanasmi nityam. Praptavanasmi means by doing that I have achieved. Praptavanasmi means I have achieved. By sacrificing the perishable things, anitya dravyaiha, by sacrificing the perishable things, impermanent things, I have achieved praptavanasmi nityam. Nityam means the permanent reality. I have achieved the permanent reality. So now going to the detailed meaning of this shlok. Now as I told you earlier, there are some controversies around this shlok. Some say it was uttered by Nachiketa and some say it was said by Yamaraj. Various scholars have translated these words in different meanings. So let's stick to what Adi Shankaracharya said. According to him, this was spoken by Yamaraj, in which he says that I know all the treasures of this world, including your wealth, your success, the fruits of your action in this world. Everything is perishable. It will finish one day. So obviously, such short-lived things, Adhruvay, of this world cannot lead to the Supreme Brahma, Dhruvam, the permanent reality. Everything here in this world, including your body, your mind, your intellect, are non-eternal. They cannot take you to the supreme reality of Brahman. Then Yamaraj emphasizes, even I have reached this everlasting state only by lighting the Nachiketa's sacrificial fire, wherein I sacrificed all the impermanent things and became one with the Supreme Brahma. कामस्याप्तिं जगतः प्रतिष्ठां क्रतोरानन्तयं भयस्य पारं स्तोममहद् उरुगायं प्रतिष्ठां दृष्ट्वा धृत्या धीरो नचिकेतोऽत्यस्राक्षिः. In the first line, Kamasyaptim, this means the end of desire, where all desires are fulfilled and you are left with no more desires. Jagatah Pratishtham, this means the existence of this world, the foundation of existence of this world. In the second line, Krator Anantiyam Abhyasya, these are three words joined as one. Anantiyam means infinite. Abhasya means fearlessness, without fear. Param means the other shore, the other part. Stoma Mahad means praiseworthy, great. Urugayam, in the third line, Urugayam means the vastness, the expanse. Pratishtham, again the foundation of existence. Drishtava means you can see. In the last line, Dhritya Dhiro. Dhritya means patience. Dhiro, wherever this word comes, Dhiro, it will be repeated multiple times in the subsequent verses also. So Dhiro means intelligence or wise, wisdom. Nachiketo Tyastrakshiha. Tyastrakshiha means renouncing or rejecting. So let's come to the meaning of this verse. Here, Yamaraj is impressed with Nachiketa's greatness and he praises him. He says, O Nachiketa, you have seen the end of desire, Kamasya Aptim or Hiranya Garbha. You have seen Pratishtham, the existence, the foundation of existence of universe. You have seen the infinite, Anantiyam, the Param, the other shore. You have seen the utmost limit of fearlessness, Abhyasya, and you have seen the vastness around. And having seen all these and the worldly pleasures, you, with your patience and wisdom, renounced everything else. You are indeed praiseworthy. Tam durdarsham gudam anupravishtham guhahitam gahavareshtham puranam adhyatma yogadhigamen devam matvadhiro harshashokau jahati. So let's first discuss the meanings of individual words here. Tam durdarsham means that which is difficult to perceive. Gudham anupravishtham, it is so subtle and deeply hidden. Guhahitam, hidden inside a cave. Gahavareshta means existing in body and mind. Puranam means the primal God, the creator, the supreme. Adhyatma Yoga Dhigamen means focusing the mind upon this Atma. Devam means Atma, the self, the Brahma. Matva, meditating. Dhiro means a wise person. Harsha Shokau, joys and sorrow. Jahati leaves behind, it goes away. So, in this verse, which is spoken by Yamaraj, he says that it is difficult to see this primal God or the Supreme Self or Brahma because he is deeply hidden inside the cave of our mind. It is only by contemplation or meditation, that is Adhyatma Yoga Dhigamen, that you can reach him. And once this Supreme Self, which is hidden in the depths of mind, is reached by a wise person, he is free from joys and sorrows. So Yamaraj here is telling Nachiketa that when the Supreme Self, which is inside us only, it is reached by anyone, that person becomes joyful. So my question here is, when the Supreme Self, which is inside us, why do we say it is hidden? Maybe because we haven't felt this divine being or Brahma inside us. He cannot be seen because he is the one who is seeing through our eyes. He cannot be thought of because he is thinking through our minds. He is everything and everywhere. Then, how do we reach this mysterious divine being inside us? Deep meditation is the only answer to that. Have you ever wondered why all our senses are directed outwards? For example, our eyes are directed outwards. We can see everything around us or outside of us, but those very eyes are useless if we want to have a look inside us. So how can we see inside us? Again, deep meditation is the only way. We do not have any senses that can look inside us. It's by meditation, repeated meditation, that we can go behind our senses and deep into our mind where the Brahman resides. And someday we might understand that the seeker, that is us, and the sought, Supreme Self, or the God of gods, are the same. He and I, we are same. Each one of us is like a drop in the ocean, and we are looking for that ocean while living amidst it. It is difficult thus to understand how to reach him. Yamaraj also does not explain this because it cannot be explained in words. It is beyond our thoughts and emotions. But probably these verses can help us. Please read, listen to these verses, and most importantly, meditate upon them. I am sure someday you are going to have a fleeting glimpse of that eternal Brahma in one of your meditative sessions.